TPLF's distraction on humanitarian institutions will not help its effort to tarnish Ethiopia's image. And police found an underground secret concrete cave made for WTO's office. Hello and welcome to this news hour. I'm Daniel Kasahun with the news. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia, Demuka Mekonnen, briefed ambassadors of 9 African countries on the current situation in the Tigray region. They appreciated the ambassadors and leaders of the countries they represent for fully supporting the law enforcement operation in Tigray following the sudden attack of the TPLF clique on the northern command of the Ethiopian Defense Force. The efforts of South Africa and its capacity as the chair of the African Union for 2020 to bring peace in the region are commendable, he said. Demuka said the operation is swiftly completed with minimum civilian casualties that enable the federal government to carry out its plan to restore law and order in the region. Demuka noted that the federal government is working closely with the interim administration of the Tigray region that has already started establishing the bureaucratic structure in the region, citing Shire as an example. The ambassador appreciated the federal government for rapidly concluding the law enforcement mission without compromising the lives of civilians. This is according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The Agency for Refugees and Returnees Affairs announces that rebel fighters of the TPLF have ransacked the Northern Eritrean Refugee Program Coordination Office in the central Tigray town of Shire. None of these destructive moves by the TPLF will help the rebel group on the run establish its claims in the international arena, the representatives also told ETV. The agency said it has directed its attention to restoring infrastructural facilities to refugee camps in the state of Tigray. Jerusalem Betsa has been to Shire to bring us the following report.
Home to Africa's second largest refugee population after Uganda, Ethiopia hosts more than 1 million people who have fled conflict, drought and persecution in neighboring countries such as South Sudan, Somalia and Eritrea. About 100,000 of these refugees are Eritreans who live in all parts of the country, including the state of Tigray. About 46,000 Eritrean refugees live in 4 camps, all in Tigray. When the federal government sent troops to lead its law enforcement operation following the TPLF's treasonous act of attacking the northern command base, the TPLF concentrated its efforts on looting and destroying offices and property. The TPLF clique even shattered the Northern Eritrean Refugee Program Coordination Office to pieces.
TPLF junta had targeted everybody who lives in the region. So this is one of the zones of ARA. But as you may see, the campus is very much damaged. The resources are looted. Even files are taken away from the office. So the operation didn't have mercy even for those who are in need.
The TPLF junta group is, they have been just challenging our operation even before the time when the government started the law enforcement operation. Even before that, they have been just laid a restriction on movements, even after that, they try to just damage our properties. This is almost a humanitarian organization. Even though we are just organized under the government, we are providing humanitarian service. So, and when we are just working on humanitarian service, it's known that you are independent, you are equal for everybody, and you are just serving the poor. So if they are they are saying that they are fighting for the people. If they are fighting for the people, they have to give priority for the poor. They shouldn't just challenge the operation, which is working on humanitarian services, but they are doing something different.
According to the agency, although paid agents of the TPLF did the looting and rampage hoping to tarnish Ethiopia's image, the nation has the full capacity to surmount these challenges.
Everybody knows Ethiopia has a good history in hosting refugees. We have been just hosting a large number of refugees. We are the second in Africa, and not only that, we are just providing quality services, and our host communities are really a welcoming society. They are just hosting our refugees, as if they are just citizens. All our refugees are just feeling as if they are at home. So Ethiopia is well known in refugee operation. We have already a long history in each and every direction of the refugee operation. So we have enough capacity. So we can do everything, even including the new context of the refugee operation. So we do have a full capacity. I know that.
ETV learned that the agency is working to normalize the situation and restore infrastructural facilities in the nearest possible time.
We are planning to expedite an operation that would ensure that the refugees get the necessary aid in a short period of time. We are assessing the damage and the situation. We came here for the first time since the start of the law enforcement operation. As we saw it, everything is damaged, and even the campus is evacuated. So there is no staff here, there is no resource, and many of our cars are looted and taken away. So we have to devise a plan, a short and very much effective plan to restore our previous operation.
Ethiopia is one of the first 5 African nations adopting the Comprehensive Refugee Response Framework, CRRF, a set of commitments set out by the UN General Assembly in 2016.
That was a report by Jerusalem Bezah. The joint military operation underway in Mekelle by the Defense Force and the Federal Police laid its hands on a 300-meter-long underground tunnel secretly constructed by Debretsion Gebremichael, the in-battle leader of the TPLF. A backdoor of the former regional deputy president's office leads to the cave, this helping him to escape, police said. Allah Teklamare Mazmur.
The concrete cave found in the compound of the TPLF's leader, Dr. Debretsion Gebremichael, was intentionally built for escaping in case of sudden attack. But TPLF leaders didn't even act that way, that they have escaping cave.
This is what we call concrete cave, where people can use it for escaping or hiding themselves from any attack. So, the TPLF leader used this cave either as a fortress or as an escaping means. Most probably, he might escape through this way.
It is Tiran leaders' destiny to use such underground tunnel to hide themselves in case of hard times.
It's obvious that dictators use such tunnels like reptiles. What we knew about Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi of Libya is similar case. So, we will similarly get the TPLF leader in another cave even though we did not get him here. These arrogant TPLF officials used it to underestimate and blame the federal government for nothing. They were also undermining the National Defense Force as weak and divided. But finally, it is them who left their office.
This case signals TPLF officials' disrespect toward their people.
This is at this news hour. Residents of the state of Tigray hailed the law enforcement operation made by the federal government as critical to restore peace and stability in the region. Talking to ENA, the residents have said TPLF's provoking attack against the Northern Command is inhuman and ferocious cruelty. Let's listen to what they had to say.
ሰው ለሰው እንደ ላሞራ ይሰጣል አይገኝም አይልም ይገኛል ግን ውግዝ ነው በሃይማኖቱም ውግዝ ነው በህግም ውግዝ ነው እንደዚህ ያደረገው እኔን አሳቤ እሱ ነው ከሰማሁ እንዴት ያለ ነገር ነው እንደዚህ የሚደረግ ሰውስ እንዴት ይው እኛ መከላከላችን እኮ እኮ ሽልማት ለነሱ ስዕላቸው ምናምናቸው በጭረታ ምናምን ተዋደን እኮ ነው የነበርነው አሁን ግን ይሄ ካደረገ ሰው ወደ ሰው አይቆርጠርም ሰውም አይባልም እኔ በራሴ
በጣም ነው እንደ ሃይማኖት መሪና እንደ ኃላፊነቴ ተሰሙተናል በአጠቃላይ ማለት ነው ክርስቲያኑ ሙስሊሙ በአጠቃላይ በዚህ ድርጅት ያላዘነ ሰው የለም ምክንያቱም ምንድነው አምኖ እየበላ እየጠጣ አብሮ እየተማከረ አብሮ ችግሩን እየተዋጣ መሰረታዊ ልማት አብሮ እያሳደገ አብሮ እየሰራ ያለ እንዲህ ያለ ድርጅት መፈጸሙ በጣም አሳዝኖናል ምክንያቱም ምንድነው እንዲህ ያለ ነገር መሆን አይገባም
እንፈልገው ምን መሰለህ ከዚህ ጦርነት እኛ ምንም ፋይዳ ያገኘነው ነገር የለም ውድመት ካልሆነ መስተቀር ስለዚህ ያው ሁላችን ለሰላም በዛም ይሁን በዚህም ይሁን ለሰላም ዝግጁ ሆነው እነሱም ይሄን ውድመት ለማንም ስለማይበጅ ያው እጃቸው ሰጥቶ ወደ ሰላም ቢቀርቡ
ሰው ላይ የነበረው ፍርሃት አለ ፍራስትራክሽን አለ ምክንያቱም ቀድሞ የተሳለው ኢሜጅ አለ አምሮ ላይ የተሳለ ስለነበር አሁን ያሉ ከተማው ያየነው መከላከያ ግን ከዛ የተለየ ሆኖ ነው የጠበቀን ችግረኞች እኔ ብስኩት ያደሉ አይቻለውኝ የተለያየ ድጋፍ ሲሰጥ አይቻለው ይሄ ያየሁት ነው ከተማው ላይ ያየሁት ነገር ስለሆነ እና በተለያየ መልክ ያገዙን ያሉ ጸጥታውን ደግሞ እየተከበረ ነው ያለው ለዚህም በጣም ማመስገን ፈልጋለሁ መከላከያውን በጣም እናመሰግናለን
አየር ሲመጣ እኛ በጣም ሰክተን ነበር ትክክል ለመናገር ማለት ነው እንደዚህ ያልጠበቅንም ምክንያቱም ዝርፊያ አለ ሌላ ነገር አለ ይሄንን ፈርተን ነበር እስካሁን ሰላም ነው
ሰው እዚህ ከተማ ያለ ሰው ጸጥታውን መጠበቅ ያሉባልታም አለመናገር ማይሆነው ነገር አላቁሙም አለመናገር ሰውም ጥሩ የሆነ ነገር ሐሳብ ምክር መምከር ለልጆችም ይሁን ለሴቶችም ይሁን እንደ ፍራቻ የሚያስገባ ነገር ካይሆን ሐቅ የሆነው ነገር ስራችን ብናሳምር ነው አሁን አላህ የሚወደን
ያው ወደ ነበርንበት እንትን የበለጠ እንድንደርስ ደግሞ መከላከያ ሰራዊቱን ጊዜው አስተዳደር የሚቋቋም ከጎናችን ሆኖ በተለይ ከወጣቱ ማህበረሰብ በደም እጅን ጓንት ሆኖ እንዲሰራ እና ሁሉ ያለ አልሎ ያለ ሁሉ ነገር ከወጣቱ ጋር እየተመካከረ ወደ ተሻለች እንትን ለማድረስ
አሁን ያለው ሁኔታ እንግዲህ እንደምታዩት ነው ሰው ወደ እንቅስቃሴ ተመልሷል ሰላም ወደ ሰላም ከተማ ወደ ሰላም ተመልሳለች ጥሩ እንቅስቃሴ ነው ያለው ስራ እየተከፈቱ ነው እንደምታዩት እኛ ወደ ቤተክርስቲያን እየሄድን ነው የቤተክርስቲያን ለመሳለም ነው አጋጣሚ የመጣ ነው ሁሉ እንደምታዩት ነው ሰው እየተንቀሳቀሰ ነው ሰላም ነው ያለው
ሰላም ባያደርግ ኑሮ ህዝቡም እንደዚህ አይንቀሳቀስም ነበር ወጣቱም እንደዚህ አይንቀሳቀስም ነበር ሊፈራ ነበር ግን ከጠበቅነው በላይ ነው ያለው አሁን ሰላም ነው ያለው ማለት
Welcome back. You are watching this news hour. Still the news from Tigray. The presence of the National Defense Force helps residents of Maichao and Koram get back to their daily activities. Though normalcy is being restored in the two small towns, residents are still struggling with poor infrastructure and other important facilities that have been destroyed by the retreating TPLF junta. Allah Teklamarian presents the story as follows.
Residents of Maicho and Koram towns welcome the presence of the National Defense Force in Tigray to bring normalcy to their respective localities and restore law and order.
በመከላከያ ሰራዊት 21 ነው እዚህ የገባው
The National Defense Force first entered Koram a week ago. They came here from Mekelle and they reintegrated with the people peacefully. There was no fire exchange at all. Nothing new happened on us because of the presence of the Defense Force, for we are all farmers here. Life gets normal now. We had a meeting with the Defense Force yesterday. They informed us everything and told us to reopen all business centers. The situation now seems better.
Though life is getting normal, residents are calling up on the government to revitalize infrastructures demolished in some other essential service sectors.
It has been a long time since the total blackout occurred in Tigray. There is no electricity and no access to internet connection. Besides, there is no banking system here. Everything will be okay if these all challenges are possibly solved. Banks and other essential service providers and government institutions still remained closed. Employees did not get their salaries yet. We are also facing water and electric problems. So, this all need to get further attention.
Ethiopia, 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 እንደገና Ethiopia, Ethiopia, ቅድስት ሀገሬ የብሔር አምባሳደር ታሪካዊ ነች እናታችን ሁሉም ሙሉ ነው በቤታችን ዞር ብለን እንይ ሌላ ያለችን ዋርካ መጠለያ ይለወጥ ስሟ የሀገራችን በስራ ጥረት በክንዳችን
This is Addis News Hour. Ethiopian ambassadors, diplomats, scholars, and other nationals of Ethiopian origin from different walks of life have been toiling to explain to the international community about the true nature of the ongoing military operation in the Tigray region. By the same token, Ethiopian ambassador to Germany, Mulu Solomon, and great-nephew of Emperor Haile Selassie, Asfaw Asrat, briefed the German-based media house, DW, about the ongoing law enforcement operation in the country's north. Kasaun Chane brings us up to speed.
Martyrs of the TPLF clique and paid propaganda campaigners have been working day and night to baffle the international community by providing distorted facts about the recent military operation on the state of Tigray, making clear the situation to the international community. In a live TV interview with the German-based DW media house, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Ethiopian, Mulu Solomon said, the military operation is a timely and appropriate move from the government to dismantle the TPLF clique, which has been shaking the country for the past years and lately dared to ambush a federal army base.
These are criminals who deliberately attack the national defense forces, which was there for more than 20 years, keeping the country, keeping Mekelle. And these people not only doing this extraordinary, very devastating crime, they have been doing the same for 2 years, but government was very, very patient in trying to solve issues with peace and reconciliation, where they rejected all the requests of coming to table to talk, because they don't want the country to stay unless they lead on the top, because they lead this country for more than 27 years, and their name was still Tigray Liberation Front. We don't know, God knows from whom they are going to liberate Tigray. They have been leading it for 27 years. And now what we are talking about is this is a criminal body. It's not the Tigray people. The Tigray people are suppressed, suffering like any other Ethiopian people. They are Ethiopians. The issue is with this junta, this clique, which they want to dismantle the country with their allies and doing so many criminal acts, including causing killing, planned, financing, designing throughout the country for 2 years. All this was tolerated.
Great nephew of Emperor Haile Selassie, Asfa Wilson Asrat, who is a political analyst and economic consultant on Africa, and an author, also said that the military operation never targets the people of Tigray, but the TPLF clique that has been surpassing the people of Tigray itself.
Basically, I find it, exactly what we call it, I think is immaterial. One thing that is true is a very tragic situation that for so many times now that Ethiopians are fighting Ethiopians and Ethiopian blood is being shed. But I think this is not the fault of the central government. It is not only the right, but it is obliged to maintain the territorial integrity and the national sovereignty of the country, and could not allow itself to just sit there while its troops were being massacred in the front of Eritrea, in the province of Tigray. So I think as far as who was responsible, we don't need to question it at all. There were many times, many ways, and the central government did really take its time to want to negotiate with them prior to what had happened in the Northern Command. And due to the hubris of the TPLF, they declined. They did not want negotiation with the central government before, and that is why military measures had to be taken.
It is to be recalled that the federal government launched a law enforcement operation following a treasonous attack of TPLF junta on the northern command of the Ethiopian National Defense Force. Ethiopia wraps up the week-long celebration of the nation's Nationalities and Peoples Day with a grand symposium. The celebration, which was accompanied by assorted events in different parts of the country, comes to an end with important discussion events that seek national unity and cohesion. Emmanuel Jorge reports.
Equality and multicultural unity for shared prosperity is the general theme of the 15th Ethiopian Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day. Speaker of the House of Federation in his opening statement at the wrapping up symposium of the Nations Day celebration said the current reform strengthens the country's multicultural unity as it paid proper attention for consolidating a democratic culture.
It has been almost 3 years since Ethiopia embarked upon a sweeping reform, ushering in a new political dispensation that would allow the nation forge economic, legal and administrative perspectives. The reform has also played a great deal to keep up the past achievements and correct shortcomings so as to come up with the domestic solution for domestic problems. The national reform attaches special attention to the formation of a strong national government and develop a true democratic culture, thereby strengthening our constitutional federal democratic system and our multicultural unity.
The Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia, Demeke Mekonnen, on the occasion calls upon all Ethiopians to join hands to realize a civilized and prosperous Ethiopia.
This year's Nations and Nationalities Day is a historic one and has special connotation. We are celebrating the day immediately after the demise of the deep-rooted suppression, division and hatred. We honor the National Defense Forces, our special force and militia members for the ultimate sacrifices they made to purge the destructive TPLF cliques for the sake of the integrity of nations and nationalities of Ethiopia. Even though the reform is facing many hindrances, we all should come out stronger and discharge our responsibilities to make the country's future bright. Ethiopia, which we imagine to be in the future, is a country of well-mannered people where every citizen can move and live in any corner of the country in freedom, citizens' rights is respected, and ethnic groups are treated equally under the law. We all have shared responsibility to work hard for the noble cause.
Exporters of pulses, oil, seeds and spices in Ethiopia's Adama city complained that high shortage of supply has become a major constraint. The exporters told ETV that farmers have shifted to harvesting high-priced crops like teff, abandoning the export crops. Let's hear more of this from Sintayo Tamrat.
EDOA Abdi exports pulses, oilseeds and spices to markets in Asia and Europe. He says he has been happy with the export business, adding that his success is a result of mastery of the business and its environment.
As long as you have a very crystallized plan and have a good marketing strategy, connections and your ability to exhibit and introduce your product to the global market, and as long as you can prove that you can supply a good quality, I think the world is looking for something good to consume and to buy. You know, export is not something you yourself only can enjoy. With these products, we will be in a European exhibition. With these products, we will be in America. With these products, we will be in every platform in the world. So it is a kind of flagship for our nation. So that's all you have to do in collaboration with the government, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and our embassies and the consulates.
However, businesses like EDOS that were flourishing in the export industry are now challenged with shortage of supply.
Regarding supply, there is a very big shortage, particularly since mid-last year. Most of our warehouses are empty. We are not even getting adequate supply, though we paid to the ECX earlier. This store was full same time last year. We are now operating only one of the 5 machines.
Shifting of harvest by the farmers from the export producers to producers of high price is said to be the catalyst to the problem. Add to that, the market chain by the Ethiopian Commodity Exchange, they say.
Most farmers shifted to harvesting other high-priced crops which are of high demand locally. For example, the white bean produce is going down and the same is happening to kidney beans. The farmers are not getting as per their efforts. That's why they shifted to other crops. The price of teff, for instance, has soared. The big problem with the ECX is that we made down payment, but they have not supplied us per the order. So we cannot make the exports properly.
Our farmers need to get adequate support in terms of supplying, better seed, in terms of financing the farm, in terms of commercializing the farm, in terms of having, our products on the competitive edge. That's one thing. The second thing, the trade platform itself, if you look at the Ethiopian Commodity Exchange, they are enforcing the farmers, the producers, to bring all the trade platforms through the platform, which is really binding. So that will not help us to buy adequate quantity as we want, adequate, enough quality as we want. This is the biggest challenge. The other thing is about the promotion and the marketing global-wise. As I said before, most part of the world doesn't know Ethiopia is producing this and that. They only come to us when they didn't find the goods somewhere else, or the other countries are stock out. They come to Ethiopia to buy something very cheap.
They urge the government to closely examine the problems they faced and consult the farmers on the root cause of shifting their harvests so that they could maximize efforts to generate more hard currency to the country.
And finally, a 90-year-old woman becomes the first person in the world to receive the Pfizer vaccine against COVID-19 outside trial conditions. She took that first injection at the University Hospital in Coventry, that's in the English Midlands. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has called this a huge step forward in the fight against COVID-19. Haptam Ashagre presents BBC's report.
It has led to the deaths of more than 60,000 people across the UK, and the majority of those are the elderly, which is why the priority is very much focused on those elder citizens in the United Kingdom. Coventry is one of the 70 hospitals across the UK that is going to start injecting the first patients. At the moment, everyone that needs this injection is going to get it immediately. The vaccine is going to be given for the most vulnerable ones, especially above 80 years of age. The most vulnerable frontline staffers, who are the ones who would be at the most risk of getting sick, are also said to be vaccinated first. The UK government has ordered 40 million doses in total, which roughly reaches a third of the UK population. Margaret Kennan, who is about to turn 91, becomes the first to receive the vaccine.
Of the vaccination strategy in the UK is to keep it simple and basically start off with age, with the oldest, because people's risk of getting COVID and also perhaps dying of COVID doubles about every 5 years. So if you start with someone like Margaret, who's in her 90s, you're likely to reduce the mortality from this disease in the most rapid way.
According to Philip, healthcare and social care workers will have high priority to get this vaccination in the future.
Countries are trying different strategies. Certainly in the UK, healthcare workers are getting a high priority. They're in the next group, and as well as social care workers. That makes a lot of sense, both to protect them, but also potentially to protect patients if it's able to reduce transmission. I suppose the question is, what are other countries doing? There is a variety of strategies here. So, for example, Russia has started vaccinating with its Sputnik vaccine, and it's vaccinating healthcare workers and teachers. So I do think perhaps there needs to be a discussion in all countries about where these occupations that have a lot of contact with the public will fit in alongside healthcare work.
Margaret Kennan, who turns 91 next week, said it was the best early birthday present.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye and stay safe.